A very good evening to all the participants. My name is Dr. Vignesh. I'm part of the National Digital Library of India team. And we are one of the co-organizers of this 25th Silver Jubilee year PN Panikkar National Reading and Digital Reading Month celebrations. And along with Niti Aayog, Ministry of Education, Central Board of Secondary Education. And so today is the third session that we are having in the series of webinars for this year. And today's session is going to be on the National Digital Library and how do we use it. So that is the primary objective for today's session. And I will be conducting the session. Maybe Balagopal ji with your few opening remarks, then we can start the session. Over to Balagopal sir. Kindly unmute yourself, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Vignesh. Anyway, I'm fortunate to welcome Dr. Vignesh, part of our organization and part of this National Digital Library Movement. And he is part of so many other organizations. And I'm happy that he is a users awareness program. He is handling. I requested him to handle these very important sessions. In the morning also, in one of the webinar I attended in Trivandrum, I emphasized the need of practicing NDLA, National Digital Library of India. This is one of the prestigious projects of the Government of India, conceived by Kharagpur University, IIT Kharagpur, and funded by the Government of India for more than 1,200 crores rupees. It was inaugurated and dedicated to the nation on 19 June 2018, when the country celebrated the 23rd annual Remembrance Day of Mr. P.N. Panikkar, the 23rd National Reading and Digital Reading Month celebrations, 1918. And now the scope has gone magnificently. Now I am told that since yesterday, 700 crores books and what they call the books and other things, books and documents are embedded in this National Digital Library system. Not only books and other things, and you have the when you enter into the National Digital Library, you have a horizon of knowledge, including skilling, because we practice. Not only we practice, now the need of the day is skilling. The youngsters should practice skilling, reskilling, and upskilling. And so, if you want to succeed in our life, and if you want to be one of the developed nation of the world, and we have to get skilled, reskilled, and upskilled. So all these lessons, all these practicals, and so many things that Mr. Dr. Vignesh will explain to you in detail, because Dr. Vignesh is with this movement for the last 5 to 6 years. He was with the CSE chief of the Government of India, of the Department of Science and Technology, Department of Electronics, Delhi, and later he moved to P.N. Panikkar Foundation. After serving with us for 2 years, he moved to National Library, what do you call it? NPL, that National Library Movement, that is IPLM, Indian Library Movement, and from there he has gone to this. He has joined this National Digital Library, and the management of the National Digital Library is highly impressed by his performance, and they wanted to be one of the outreach officers of the country and spreading this message of NDLI throughout the country, going to the colleges and different places and explain the various the salient features of this library. And we have a dream that by 2025, when the country celebrates its 75th anniversary of the Republic, we should establish 2.07 lakhs digital libraries. That means in all the panchayats of the country. That is our dream, and we are marching ahead by 2025. And I am looking forward the service of all my partners, in National Reading Mission activities, and the CBSE school teachers, as CBSE school parents, CBSE students, and librarians of the country, librarians, because they have got a very key role to establish digital library in all the panchayats of the country. It has been approved, and in principle sanction has come from the PMO. So now this program is completely managed and organized by with the people's participation. With the people's participation, you are the people, you are the masses. This is a mass movement, and I am sure that with all your help and with all your good mind, and all your energy and your thinking, this will be a vision that can be cherished by 2025. And Vignesh is one of the powerful resource person of this project. And I'm over to Dr. Vignesh, and I would like to hear his innovative outreach activities. Now he has gone to all the states, especially the South India, and outreach activities, how the common man, even the students, teachers, parents, librarians, etc. of the schools, colleges, schools means that is CBI, that is plus two students, the schools, 8, 9, 10, 11th, and other students of the schools, and of course the college students and librarians all over the country to study this very important project, very important, very useful project in the country. So I want your involvement, and I'm requesting Dr. Vignesh to present his theme. Dr. Vignesh, please.
Thank you so much, Balagopal sir, for this kind introduction. So now we will start with the session. Just give me a moment. So let me start the presentation. Just give me a moment. Thank you. So I hope my presentation is visible to all of you. So in today's session, we are going to look at NDLI, what, why, how, whom, and for what, right? So many of you know this gentleman, Professor S.R. Ranganathan, and his 5 laws of library science. So that is the base on which the National Digital Library of India has been conceived, and it's being practiced. And so these are the 6-7 things that we are going to see in today's session. First is why NDLI was created, how does NDLI work, what kind of content we have, and then who is this for. Then we will see how to access or use these resources, and what is the difference between Google and NDLI, and then how to operate NDLI Cloud. So these are the 7 things that we are going to look at in today's session. And the first part, why NDLI? Why the National Digital Library of India was set up? So many people ask me this question. So like we have libraries in every institution, right? Be it schools, be it colleges, be it research institutions. Every institution have their own libraries, right? And even if it's higher educational institutions, within the department also, each department has its own library, right? So then they asked me like, why do we need a digital library, right? What is the point? Why are we spending so much? And there are other questions also come up. Like there were other digital library initiatives also running across the country. Why do you need a national digital library? So after listening to all these questions, few things come to my mind. One is one of my earlier bosses, he used to, Dr. Thiresh Tyagi. So he used to tell me, India is a country, it's such a diverse country. Every 50 kilometers or 100 kilometers, you will see the change of attitude, the change of culture, the change of language, the way people look at things. So we will have within a state, a mini state, right? Or within the district, you will see a mini district. So it's like a concoction of a lot of different culture. So even for that diverse country like India, one solution that may not fit all the requirements, right? Even I won't claim that NDLI will serve every purposes. So that is when he used to tell me, let 1,000 flowers bloom. That used to be his one of the favorite quotes. So he used to tell me, let 1,000 people start, and people will, ultimate aim is to, it has to reach to the people, let people use it, right? So that's the idea. And when NDLA was started, there were a few challenges that the country, even now it's being faced. And some of them include, there has been drastic reduction in the financial and human resources for libraries, right? So many of the institutions have their own reasons. They used to tell us they don't have much student intake in the institutions, or the students and the faculty members don't go to the library and they don't use the resources. The library is being used and the librarian is not doing his job. So there were a lot of people keep coming and complaining it to us, and they have their own reasons. But from our experience, one of the things that we have noticed is whichever institution has made libraries as the core heart of the institution, right? Wherever they have seen libraries, the entire institution is running around the library, that institution has flourished. Like, I can give you many examples. I don't want to name any specific institution, but that is how it is, right? They don't have any problem of financial resources, or they don't face any intake or admission problems. So it's a critical part of an institution, right? Even yesterday, when Dr. Jaykumar ji and day before yesterday Dr. Shadrach was speaking, they clearly emphasized there has been serious connection in terms of library and the learning outcomes of the students and the faculty members, right? So that's a critical part. And many institutions don't realize it. Very few institutions have realized. And especially the rural parts, many institutions don't have proper functional libraries, right? So they don't have access to quality knowledge resources, leave alone the tier one. So except very few institutions, many of the institutions they don't have proper access to the knowledge resources. And also they have challenges like accessing the same resources by multiple persons at the same time. And also we have challenges like missing resources, hidden resources, or damaged resources. And these resources are available in most of the physical libraries, right? In fact, I have, as Balagopal ji mentioned, so when I was in Kerala, I used to travel to different rural libraries, panchayat libraries, district libraries, and middle level libraries. And I used to see many of the institutions, they don't have proper space for stacking resources, because the number of resources has been increasing, and they don't have additional space to stack these resources. So having seen all these challenges, the government of India actually wanted to democratize education. They wanted to give equal access to knowledge resources to every Indian citizen, whether they come from Kashmir or Kanyakumari, or they come from Siliguri or Ahmedabad, any part of the country, or any part of the Northeastern region, they should have equal access to knowledge resources. With that idea, the National Digital Library of India was conceived, and it was launched as a pilot project way back in 2016 and 18. Right, it was dedicated to the nation on the 2018, but it was launched as a pilot project way back in 2016. So what is NDLI? NDLI is a single ubiquitous platform for providing equal access to knowledge resources to every Indian citizen. So it is an idea to realize the dream of democratizing the education. So during this, just give me a moment. There are a lot of messages that are coming in. Okay. So unless and until if it's very urgent, don't put any chat messages, because it's keep popping up in my window. So kindly do not put any good evening messages. We will have only questions and fruitful discussion in the chat box. And during this lockdown, when the entire world came to a standstill, even that time, the National Digital Library of India was giving access to its knowledge resources. So that is the beauty of the National Digital Library. And now let us see, what do we have, or how does NDLI work? At NDLI, we primarily store metadata. What is metadata? Metadata is nothing but the basic information about a resource. Say, for example, if it's a book, the title of the book, the author of the book, the publisher of the book, the subjects that are being covered, the abstract, about the author. So the basic information about a resource is called metadata. That is what we store in our repository. We don't store any full text resources. Then you may ask me, like, what is the point of having a digital library without having the full text content? Yes, we have full text content, but we don't store. We give it in a different format. So I will explain that in the next diagram. So kindly have a look at this diagram. Imagine this central part, this NDLI repository. This is the National Digital Library of India portal, right? As a first step, what we do is we partner with institutions. Say, for example, if University of Kerala has 1,000 non-copyrighted open source digitized resources, which they are willing to share it with every Indian citizen, then we first help them in setting up an IDR. Most of the institutions have an IDR, but some of the institutions may not have an IDR. IDR stands for Institutional Digital Repository, right? That's like a mini, mini website of kind that we help you in setting up the IDR along with the metadata for these 1,000 resources. Okay, the full text lies here in the IDR, Institutional Digital Repository, and once the metadata is created, we just pull the metadata from here and we store it in our repository. Okay, now if a researcher from say Kanpur wants to access one of the faculty publications, so he comes to NDLI, he searches for the resource. Once he locates it, he clicks on that resource and we redirect him to the IDR of University of Kerala. So here you validate this user, and if it's found to be a genuine user, then you give him the access to this resource directly to the researcher. So in this process, what NDLI does is we act as a content facilitator or a content integrator. We don't own any content. Rather, we give a platform through which institutions, like-minded institutions, come and share their resources, right? So that is how NDLI functions. As I mentioned, we primarily partner with institutions. We don't scan or we don't write any content. Rather, we partner with institutions, and so far we have partnered with over 347 such institutions. Some of them are listed here. You can have a look at them. And if you look at the subject-wise content availability, so we have computer science, information, and general works, 1.64 crore resources. Philosophy and psychology, we have 6 lakh resources. Religion, we have 2.2 lakh resources. Social sciences, we have 60 lakh resources. Language, we have 1.86 lakh resources. Natural sciences, natural science and mathematics, we have 98 lakh resources. Technology, we have 1.27 crore resources. The arts, fine and decorative arts, we have 19 lakh resources. Literature and rhetoric, we have 9.48 lakh resources. History and geography, we have 9.59 lakh resources. So if you add these, as of today, we have 7.2 crore resources in our repository. And these 7.2 crore resources are available in various learning resource formats. It's not only ebooks or articles. It could be thesis, dissertation, PhD papers, publishing papers, or synopsis, a master's project, undergraduation projects, PowerPoint presentations, video lectures, audio lectures, class notes, coursework, term papers, assignments, assessments, lab experiments, case studies, question banks, model answers, and data sets, manuscripts, paintings, annual reports, project reports, working papers, etc. So we have over 60 different types of learning resource formats available at the National Digital Library. And these 7.2 crore resources are available in 5 different access options. So access option primarily denote whether they are full text resources. Full text means whether you can download the entire content, or partial content, or limited content. So these can be denoted by 5 different access options. One is open access, which means these resources are available outside of NDLI. Say, for example, NCERT books. So if you go to the NCERT website, you can download all the NCERT books without having to pay a single penny, right? So you don't have to be registered also. So you can access them from the NCERT website. But the beauty of NDLI is NDLI has collated over 300 such open source platforms and brought it under a single umbrella. So you don't have to go to 300 websites to look for the information. Rather, you just come to NDLI and then you can search for these resources. And the second one is NDL users content. So this is primarily this national license content. So the government of India, what they have done is they have procured national license from South Asia Archive and World eBook Library and given to NDL registered users at free of cost, right? And then we have third one is limited access. Limited access means say for example, if it's a 30-page article, out of which 10 or 15 pages may be visible, remaining pages may not be visible. And the fourth one is subscribed. Subscribed means it may require additional subscription from a publisher. Say for example, Springer or IEEE, we only have the metadata. But if your institution has taken the subscription from IEEE or Springer, then you can access these resources directly from NDLI, right? But remember, it has to be from your IP bound machine, so you have to be very careful there. And the fifth one is restricted access, which may require additional authorization. And you can see these access option below every search icon. So you can see this search item, and you can see this search icon below every what you call search item. And if you look at the access option wise content, open access contents are the major kind of resources at NDLI. Around 5.11 crore resources are open source resources, and then NDL users contents are about 6.64 lakh resources. So if you add these two, around 5.18 crore resources are free to use for educational and research purposes, right? So you don't have to pay a single penny for accessing these 5.18 crore resources. And if you look at the learning resource type wise content, articles are the major chunk with 3.81 crore resources, followed by newspaper articles, which are 74 lakhs resources, and then books are about 67 lakhs. Theses are about 7.4 lakhs. Video lectures are about 4.72 lakhs. And who is this for? So NDLI is meant for every age group, starting from the school-going children to college-going youths, working professionals, academicians, researchers, entrepreneurs, and lifelong learners. So anyone who is interested in learning, we have resources for them. Now we will move to the next part of how to access NDLI. So here I will just quickly touch upon, there are two ways through which you can access the National Digital Library. One is through a mobile app. So we have the mobile app available on both Android as well as iOS. You can go to the Play Store or App Store to download the NDLI mobile app and start using it. Or you can go to any search engine or browser-based application to access the NDLI sources. So now what I'm going to show you is how to access the resources using the browser-based application on a live platform. Okay. So what I'm going to request you is, so suppose if you want to, I hope my screen is visible. Suppose if you want to access NDLI from your browser. So what you have to do is National Digital Library of India. Okay. You search here. Then you just click on the URL. It will take you to our home page. So this is how the NDLI home page looks like, right? So this is the dark bar, which is static. So here you can see, this is the browse button. So here you can browse the content by type, by subject category, by source, and by learning resource format. Say for example, suppose if you want to browse by content source. Okay, I just clicked here. You can see there are various content source listed, and also you can see there are various content source. So content source is nothing but the partners. I told you there are 347 partners. All of them are listed here. Suppose if you want the content from Byju's, just click here, Byju's. Then there are 2,823 results resources contributed by Byju's. Suppose if you want NPTEL lectures, just click NPTEL. Then you will be able to see the various NPTEL lectures that are available. Right? This is how you can browse. And this is the search button. So here you can search the topic, and this is the language option. So using which you can actually change the language interface. Suppose if you want Hindi, you can just click Hindi. Now the entire interface will change into Hindi. You can see the interface has changed to Hindi. Similarly, if you want to change it to say Tamil, you just click on Tamil. Then it will change it to, you can see the entire interface has changed to Tamil. Similarly, if you want to change it to say, sorry, it's hiding my screen. So likewise, you can change it to at least 11 such languages. Now I will change it back to English. Right. So now let's get back to the home page and see. So this is the search box. Here you can see we have 7.23 crore resources available as of today, which keeps increasing as the day progresses. And this is the 3 newly created section, study at home section. So under which the content has been classified into various educational level and educational domain. Suppose if you want engineering content, you can just click on the engineering content. Suppose if you want science subjects, say for example, I wanted engineering subjects, I want civil engineering content. So I just clicked. Then suppose if I want video lectures on or course materials from NPTEL on civil engineering, you can just click here, right? And similarly for school students, you can see the various resources that are available. We have a lot of video lectures available for the school students. Suppose if you want video lectures on mathematics for class 11 and 12 from National Testing Agency, you can get it from here. And then we have some study materials or say lab materials or books. So these are the resources that are available. And you have simulations from PET. We have JEE preparation materials. And we have some general reading materials from National Book Trust and some individual contributors. And then we have this COVID-19 research repository and some featured collections also. This is dynamic. So person of the week, topic of the week, we have birth centenary of Satyajit Ray and on this day in the history. Okay. And this is how the NDLI looks like. Say now, I request, just give me a moment. Say for example, if I want to search on a topic called algebra, okay, I just entered the search keyword and clicked algebra. Now there are at least some 5 lakh resources on this topic. Now, if I wanted only content which are relevant for class 11th and 12th, I just clicked class 11th and 12th. I got 5,497 resources. So here on the left hand side, you can see the various filter options, right? There is a filter called access restriction, which will get you, suppose if you want only open source content, you just click on open, then you will get only the full text resources, right? And suppose if you want from one specific author, say for example, Laurie Jordan, you want the resources only from Laurie Jordan, then you have 420 resources from this author. And say for example, you want subject category only from mathematics, natural sciences and mathematics, you've got only the subject category of this. So these are the filter options which are available: difficulty level, educational level, file format, language. Suppose if you want the content in Hindi, you just click on Hindi. You can see now the content is available in Hindi. Now algebra, you can learn it in Hindi also. Suppose if you want it in say Tamil is also available, right? Suppose if you want it in Hindi, I've already chosen. Suppose if I want it in Malayalam, let me see if Malayalam content is, no, Malayalam is not available here. And then say, can you all give me another topic for me to search? Okay, I'm not able to see this one, what you call the chat window. So I'm not able to have a look at it. So maybe I will put another topic. Say for example, let me put another topic called say financial accounting. Okay. Now I've got 2.26 lakh resources. Okay, there is a chat message that has come. History of India. Very good. Let me say history of India. Now, you have got 4,33,000 resources on this topic. Now, suppose you want only video lectures on this topic. What you can do, on the right hand side, you have filters, right? Suppose if I want only video lectures, I just clicked on video lectures. I got 1,388 results, right? And then let me see, can anyone give another topic? Storybooks for small children. right? So story for children, and here there's another. Okay, let me come to that in a little while. And here I wanted to wanted the content only from a source called, say, let me just check. Story Weaver, Pratham Books, right? See, we have bedtime stories for children. We have Sirat's love for books, a book for Puchku, stories for us. So we have books for children on this topic. Now, let me get to another, I will show you another trick. Suppose if you want to search on a topic called human resource management. See here, I have put double quotes. Okay. What does that mean is I wanted all these three words to be there in the search keyword. Then only it will get the result. Suppose if I don't put double quotes, it will get, even if one search keyword is there, it will pull the results. But I want all the three words should be there in the search results. So I got 19,890 results. Suppose let me show you without the double quotes, how many results are coming. It fetched me 2,37,000 results. When I put double quotes, it will fetch me only 19,000 results, right? So this is how you can optimize the search. You suppose if you want all the three words should be there in the search result, then you just put double quotes before and after the search keyword, right? This is how you can use, right? So now I think I have showed you broadly. Suppose if I want to open this, say, one of these documents, I just clicked here. It took me. Okay, so this is called the metadata. Okay, this is the title of the resource. This is the author, source, content type, language, subject, keyword, learning resource type, publisher date, page count. This is called the metadata. Okay. Now I found this resource. Suppose if I want to download or view this content, then you have to look at whether it's an open resource or not. This is an open resource. Now, if you want to download this, just go here and click on content. Then it will get you the entire content from the source. Okay, this is how, and some of them will directly get you the content, some of them will take you to the corresponding website of the, some may require you to install some plugins to download these resources also. So kindly follow these basic practice, then it will be helping you a lot, right? So now we will get back to the presentation. I will skip few slides. I have showed you all these. So some of the topics I searched are Java programming, engineering mechanics, history of English literature, modern India, financial accounting, poems, and some like experiments for children. So here I have shown you a physics experiment called force and motion. And then we have JEE preparation materials and the study at home section, engineering, science, law and management. And these are some of the featured content available for school students. So we have NCERT books, we have many of the state board books also, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat state board books we have, Jammu and Kashmir, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, Punjab, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, and Tripura. And apart from this, we have NPT, National Book Trust books, we have Diksha resources, NDLA Tutor, Examfia, Exploratorium, STEMS, Khan Academy, Byju's, TED, the Physics Classroom, Watch No Learn, PEDAT, TeacherTube, Pratham Story Viewer. These are some of the like featured content that are available for school students. And these are some of the resources available for college going students. And we have some world classics and bestsellers also. So we have resources from World eBook Library, Project Gutenberg, LibriVox, West Bengal Public Library resources, Library of Congress resources are also available at NDL. And then we have some competitive examination resources also available, primarily the question banks currently, but our team is constantly working to raise more resources on the competitive examination materials also. And I showed you how to download these resources earlier. So like for open source content, you don't have to be logged in and registered at NDLI. But if you want to download any like national license content or subscribed resources, then you must be registered and logged into Indian Live. Okay, then you should once you click on login, it will ask you to log in like this. Enter your registered email ID and password. Enter the captcha and click login. Okay, then you will be able to download these resources. Suppose if you forgot your password, just click on the account recovery button. Then this pop-up window will appear. Enter your registered email ID and submit. And in case this is the first time you're hearing about NDLI, just click on the register button. Then the registration form will open. Enter the details. And as I told you, there are some important filter options which you may want to remember. And you can change the language interface into Hindi, Gujarati, Bangla, Marathi, Bengali, Assamese, Oriya, Tamil, Malayalam, Telugu, and Kannada, apart from English. And suppose if you want to install so far what we have seen is why NDLI was created, what type of content we have, how does NDLI work, how to access these resources using the browser-based application. Now I will show you how to use the NDLI mobile app. So to install the NDLI mobile app, what you need to do is kindly, suppose if you're using an Android phone, go to the Play Store and then search for the National Digital Library of India. And if you're using an iPhone, go to the App Store and then search for National Digital Library of India. Especially in the iPhone, you have to search for the entire name. Okay, so enter the entire name, then you will be able to see this is the logo, this is the name, and this is the the publisher name. All the three should be National Digital Library of India. Then you click on install button in the mobile app, then the app will get installed in your phone. So once the app is installed, just click on the app. Then this is how the NDLI home screen looks like. Okay, suppose if you want to browse, just click on this icon, then you will be able to see all the 4 browse options. And suppose if you want to search, then what you need to do is click on this search icon. Then this search box will appear. Here, say for example, if I want to search on a topic called financial accounting, enter the search keyword and click search on the keypad. I got 2,25,000 results on this topic. Now, if I want to filter these options. So in the desktop applications, we had the filter option on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. But here, it's available on the bottom right corner. So you just have to click on this button. Then this one, what you call the filters which we saw on the desktop application will appear on the top. So you can scroll down to see the remaining filters. Suppose if I want to apply a filter called content type and I wanted only video lectures, just choose video and click apply. I got 205 results. So this is how the NDLI functions. And we have almost come to the last part of the session. So how many people ask me what is the difference between where we have Google, where do we need NDLI? I keep giving this example of this girl and guy. So imagine there's a girl called Payal who is studying in class 8 and her native language is Hindi, right? And she wants to know about magnetism in the subject of physics, okay? And similarly, there is a guy called Shamik who wants to pursue his PhD on this topic of magnetism. Now, both of them went to Google and they searched for the same topic called magnetism and they found 1.89 crore results, right? And then they came to NDLI and they searched for the same topic called magnetism and they found 11,16,000 results. Now, what Payal did was she applied 2 filters. First filter she applied was educational level. She chose only 5th to 8th standard, and language she chose as Hindi. She got only 8 results. Whereas what Shamik did was he chose only career and technical papers and he found 219 results, right? So imagine where is 8 and 219 results. Now from this example, we can see the broader difference between Google and NDLI. Ideally, we should not compare Google versus NDLI because both of them have its own purposes. But many people keep asking this question, right? So Google is a great tool, right? We are not even a small fraction of what Google can do, or we are very, very, very small and we are doing our service to this nation. But the moment you put a search term called magnetism, what Google does is it goes around the entire World Wide Web, and wherever this term called magnetism is there, it will just pull the results and display it in front of you, right? That's a brilliant, brilliant tool, right? The humankind has been very so blessed to get this tool, but it has its own limitation. Say, for example, it can't distinguish whether it's coming from an authentic source or an unauthentic source. It can't distinguish whether it's an educational content or a non-educational content. It can't distinguish whether it's a real information or a fake information. It can't distinguish whether it's what do you call relevant for Shamik or Payal or Vignesh. It can't do, right? That's the major difference between Google. But on the other hand, each content that is available at NDLI is curated educational content. As I said, we only partner with trusted educational research and publishing institutions, right? So the content that is available at NDLI is only educational content. And the second difference is you can actually narrow down the results using educational filter options. So you saw the various filter options. They are very specifically designed for the educational domain, right? Google also, we have the filter option, which is like we have this advanced search, but that is very generic in nature, right? And then Google, you have to, suppose if you want to go to NCERT, you have to search for NCERT. Suppose if you want to go to what you call say ACM Digital Library, you have to search for it. So you have to search for 300 times to go to different sites. But on the other hand, if you come to NDLI, you can access all the 300 platforms resources from NDLI itself. You don't have to go to 300 different sites. That's the beauty of NDLI. And the last difference is NDLI has national license content, which Google doesn't. So these are the four major differences between Google and NDLI. And now we have come to the last part of the presentation, which is how to operate an NDLI club. So this is something that the Government of India has, through the Ministry of Education, has been mandating it to, through the AICTE, UGC, NBA, and now CBSE also has sent a circular to ensure that they set up an NDLI club in their institution, right? In fact, my colleague, Mr. Vibhash Kumar Samanta, is going to talk about in detail how to set up an NDLI club in your own institution tomorrow, but I will just quickly touch upon the broader objectives, and then we will stop there, and then we will take few questions. So the primary objective of NDLI club is to promote the culture of reading and learning, right? So that's a primary objective. And also we have created an online platform to facilitate that conduction of promote the culture of reading and learning. So this will, primary objective is to enhance the skills and competence of the young generation. So these are the primary objectives of the NDLI club. So you need to identify some 4 key members for the NDLI club. Suppose if you are a school or a college, so you need to identify 4 critical people. One is a patron, preferably the head of the institution, like principal or the secretary or dean. And then president, a faculty member or a librarian. Secretary could be faculty or librarian. Executive member could be faculty, student, or researchers. So identify them, first register them at NDLI, and then they have to follow. So this is how NDLI club portal looks like. So you have to first click on the club registration. First they have to be registered at NDLI, then only they have to come and fill this club registration form. Then it will take them to a login page. They have to fill the form, like they have to fill the basic details about their institution. They have to upload the 3 images of their institution. They have to provide all the 4 authority details. They have to generate the authority letter, and then they have to freeze the application. Okay, so it's a 1-day full process. So if you do it sincerely, we will get it within a week. So once you set up the club, you will get an automated email with the registration number, which you may have to put it in the AICT website, or soon CBSE will also make it mandatory. So you may have to put that registration number. So we will give a certificate of registration like this. But before that, what you need to do is you have to register at least 100, minimum of 100 students. Ideally, all the students and faculty members should be registered at the NDLI club, because once you register at NDLI club, you also automatically register them at the NDLI also, right? So you have to register them, and then you have to conduct one awareness session on NDLI, right? Once you do that, you will be getting the certificate of registration that is valid for 1 year. Within that 1 year, you have to conduct at least 10 reading or knowledge related activities. So what are these reading or knowledge related activities? It could be a lecture series or a quiz competition, a storytelling session, go quiz session, film screening, drawing competition, role play, or writing competition, maker space, or debate. And you have to upload all these activities through the NDLI club platform only. Or you can also come up with your own reading or knowledge related activities, right? So tomorrow my colleague will speak extensively on this NDLI club, how to register, and then how to conduct activities using the NDLI club, right? So with this, I thank each one of you for carefully listening to this presentation. Now we would be happy to take a few questions on this topic. any questions? Kindly put it in the chat box. What is the minimum age for NDLI user registration? Okay. So you have to look for the terms and conditions of NDLI. What is the use of library, as we may have many story in your course book of Hindi and English. Okay, something about event report generation. How can we create metadata? Medical books available in NDLI? Yes, we have good amount of medical books available at NDLI. Your screen was free. I'm literally sorry. I just, because a lot of messages were there. My screen was free. Sorry. What is the role of event conductor and responsibilities? Okay, so regarding the NDLA club, all the questions of yours will be answered by my colleague tomorrow. Okay, and I will like reserve these questions for tomorrow's session. What is the role of event conductor and responsibilities? These are all any content for researcher or preparation for UGC. Yes, we have good amount of resources for researchers. As I said, we have thesis of about 7 lakh resources that are available, and also we have good amount of books, or at least around 67 lakh books are available on various. How can I access the previous webinar? Is there any books on SNN? Okay, please send the electronic resource management in libraries at SPK. For citation. Yes, you can use these resources for citation, provided you have to carefully rephrase the sentence. You should not be like ditto copy and paste of the work. You have to give due citation. You should rephrase the work. Do it have storybooks for school children? Yes, I showed you. We have huge amount of storybooks from Pratham Story Weaver, NPT, National Book Trust. We have resources from Vedantu, Byju's. We have good amount of storybooks, and also World eBook Library has given access to over 6 crore resources, primarily the storybooks also. Popular science in NLA. Okay, so yesterday I asked this question, like, because many people keep asking, do we have the subject books? My question is definite no. We have EPG Pathshala. So many of you might have heard about EPG Pathshala that has over, maybe I will show you in the next few minutes, and I will show it right away. So there is this source called EPG Pathshala. I will go to browse learning resource type. FlipNet. Okay, so it has to be from source. Sorry. So go to the source in FlipNet EPG Pathshala. So it has 22,586 results on this topic of EPG. We have PG books on various topics. So any other topic, any other questions that you have, I will be, actually I'm not able to see the chat box. I'm extremely sorry about that. Let me just see if I can see the chat box here. Sorry, I'm not able to see the chat box when I share the screen. Right, can we have PPT of presentation? Yes, we can show. Okay, I will put the entire PPT on the webinar page. You can download it from the, there is a demonstrate how to access the books for school children. Okay, I will show it again. You give me any topic, I will show you how to access. Say for example, if you want books for children, go to, there is a source called Vedantu. Okay, many of you have heard about. So we have, these are the school resources that are available for school children. Probability, polynomials, pair of linear equations, into variables, quadratic equations. So here you can go to educational level. Suppose if you want it for 1 to 5, you have the basic reading materials for 1 to 5. Suppose if you want it for 5th to 8th, you can choose it here, right? And then we have Byju's also. I will show you Byju's. So this is primarily the source. You can search the content by source. We have 2,823 results from Byju's, which is primarily the question banks that are available. And then we have NBT, in National Trust which has primarily the storybooks, and then we have Pratham Story Weaver. Pratham Story Weaver, we have 16,000 results, which is available in various languages. You can see at least it's available in say at least 100 languages. Suppose if we want it in Hindi, we have 1,483 resources, storybooks are in Hindi. And then also you can go to the home page. We have this school section. Here you can see various video lectures on this for this children. Say for example, physics experiments from Examfia. You can just click here and then see the various resources of physics experiments for school children. Right? Say for example, if you want work, energy and power, just click here. Sorry, I will skip it, the timing, but I can show you how it functions in the later part, because it's asking me to install some plugins now. And let me just see if there is any other question. One topic search at a time. Is there any link to your webinar for seeing these steps again? Okay, I will share the webinar link in the webinar section, so you can download this from there. Okay, so now I think we have come almost to the end of the session. So I will be also available tomorrow. So if you have any questions, I would be happy to respond to your questions tomorrow as well. Now I will, is there any other questions you can ask me? Otherwise we can end this session. So I will be sharing the feedback form URL in the chat box. Okay, so tomorrow's link and everything I'm going to share now. Just give me a moment. So if you have not yet registered for this webinar, first register yourself, because many people tell me that they are not able to submit the feedback form. First register for this webinar from the first URL, and then click on the feedback form URL, and then you can submit. Kindly wait for a few minutes, because if you start putting thank you messages, then the message will not go through. And tomorrow's session is on NDLI club, importance of NDLI club and its relevance for importance of NDLI club in reading. That's the topic for tomorrow. That's going to be at 6:30 p.m. Sorry, I will just put it in the chat box again. So kindly, I have just put the registration form URL and the chat box URL next session. I'm just sharing it now. Kindly don't put any thank you message now, because if you start putting it, then you will miss out on the message. I've shared the tomorrow's thing, and kindly install the NDLI mobile app. And also there is this program called Commonwealth of Learning, which is offering scholarship through the Panikkar Foundation in India. You can subscribe to this scholarship. So I've shared all the URLs now. I will put all the URLs in the single form. So kindly join us tomorrow also. That's going to be very important. So if you're from a school or college, because UGC, AICT, NBA and CBSE has made it mandatory to start an NDLI club in your own institution. So kindly attend tomorrow's session and get benefited. So for the benefit of our YouTube viewers, I will just put it in the comment box shortly. So kindly wait there. Right. So if there are not much questions, then we can end this session now. Over to Balagopalji. Balagopal sir, are you there? Or otherwise we can end this session.
Video. Vignesh, it was a very amazing session. Thank you for it. And I look forward to your continued support and involvement in this reading movement organized throughout the country from 19 June to 18 July. And he is one of the powerful resource person of this movement also. And now I am requesting Mamta from Delhi to give a vote of thanks to and vote of thanks for this session. Mamta, come. Mamta, yes.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Very warm evening to everyone present here. I propose my vote of thanks for the day. And for that, I begin with Sri Balagopal sir for having trust in me and providing me the opportunity to deliver my vote of thanks for the day. I thank you PN Panikkar Foundation for conducting enlightening webinars, competitions for the librarians, teachers and students and sharing the gift of literacy. It was a delight to have Dr. Vignesh today with us. His interactive session filled with knowledge provided us all with much food for thought, and if I may so, in the most engaging and pleasant manner. It is sad, sir, that there is no prize on learning, but still it is most valuable. Still, it is most valuable. On behalf of PN Panikkar Foundation, I am Mamta Magu. Thank Dr. Vignesh for taking his time off to bring his valuable learning to us all. This session would not have been possible without the guidance of our esteemed Vice President, PN Panikkar Foundation, Sri Balagopal sir, whose zeal for excellence continues to inspire us towards betterment. My gratitude is also due to our audience who are ever enthusiastically supportive. I thank all my professional friends for their cooperation and vivacious participation in this session. Thank you once again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Vignesh. And let us end this session.
Thank you, everyone. We can end this session.